Your Steve Jones Show podcast is loading now. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Sunbury Motors, North 4th Street in Sunbury, and Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf.
And Barrett Brooks joins us from NBC Sports Philly, a host of the pre- and post-game shows of the Birds Huddle. Barrett, great to have you with us.
Appreciate you having me on.
In a long list of positives last night, what stuck out to you more than any others?
More so than anything is the attitude this team approached to. In fact, I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't think really that it didn't matter who the Eagles' opponent was. I thought it would have been the same results regardless, because this team knew that they could have played better against that Detroit Lions team. They won the game, but they were tired of everybody saying that, that's not the same team that, we thought we were going to have, all the naysayers and everything else. And I think they just went about their business and understanding who they are as a team. That offensive line didn't play up to expectation. They were mad. They got cussed out by Coach Stoutland. You look at the defense, everybody was questioning the defense, whether they, Gann and everything else. They're like, look, we don't care what else is going on around us. We're going to play up to our standards, and our level of play is what's going to dictate how we go out there and play this team. It could have been anybody there. It could have been the Super Bowl champions there. They were on a mission to be the best team that they could be individually. They were the best guys they could be, and this just how they approached the game this time is the way you're supposed to approach a game. I know what it is to be a champion. I won Super Bowl XL, and that's the type of attitude we had when I was with the Steelers. They had the same attitude. You can definitely see how they went out there and played the game that. It didn't matter who it was out there. It was just a bunch of nameless and faceless jerseys out there.
Were you surprised? I mean, Minnesota's defense was not great last year. That's one of the reasons why Zimmer is no longer the coach. But were you surprised that they just stayed in that zone shell and never really attacked the receivers last night? Because there was a lot of pitch and catch.
You know what? That's the way, and Ed Donatello's defense, that's the way they run it. He's the type of guy that, he wants everything to develop in front of him. He had great enough athletes when he was with Green Bay and those other teams that up front they could put pressure on the quarterback and have the back end just catch everything. I mean, if you catch in front of him, go make the play immediately. I think they just got outdueled. They caught him by surprise, and that's the biggest thing. They didn't think Jalen Hurts could go out there and manipulate the defense the way he was as far as going to second or third read. They didn't believe in his arm. They didn't believe his ability to throw the ball the way he threw it. He actually caught him off guard. Before they knew it, it was too late. They couldn't adjust to it. I think it's more so that they just wanted to really stop the run because they thought this was just a run-first team. And, as soon as they got out there, it was like they noticed that, all right, this kid is pretty good. He can run, he can throw, he can run this offense. He's the leader of this team. And before you know it, they were down, 27-6.
When you look at the running game last night, Miles Sanders gave him a lot of jump. But, boy, what did that do when Hurts decided to play some option football last night because the Vikings never found the ball?
I think it was more so, Jalen understands how to run this offense, and he's been running for the last 2 years. This is the first time he's had an offense 2 years in a row under the same guidance of the same offensive coordinator since he was in high school, so he knows how to run it. And the mere fact that Miles Sanders is playing for a contract, he understands that where he goes, this team goes. If he can just go out there and be a stable force in the run, it's not always bad to have, get a run for 3 yards. Because you get 3 yards and you have, a 4-yard run. I mean, your offense is on time. Now it's much easier to call a play that's third and 3 as opposed to 3rd and 10. And because of that, they stayed on time. It was just easier for them to call plays. I just really think that the offensive line allowed them to do whatever they wanted to do, and especially with, the way Sanders was running the ball, that Jalen Hurts could do no wrong because the guys around him were playing at another level.
Devontae Smith was not really active in the opener. He was really active early and often last night. What does that tell us about the balance of the Eagles' offense, that if they're giving you something, if they're taking something away over here, they can give you something over here?
I think it's more so, when you look at the team as a whole, they adapt well to what this coaching staff has given them. And when you look at this offense, you you can't just focus on one thing. Just like you couldn't focus just on A.J. Brown. They tried to do that. They tried to bracket him, and here, they made a concerted effort to go to Smith. Then you say, all right, you're going to stop Smith and A.J., now they can go to Dallas Goedert. Or you're going to do that, then we're going to run the ball because you got to take somebody out to double team whoever you're going to double team out there. You bring somebody else out the box. Now we can run it down your throat. Oh, by the way, if you do that, then we have run pass RPO, run pass option. And now Jalen is entered into the mix. It's like pick your poison. As an offense, you pick what you want to do, and we're going to counter that. It's just like that on the defensive side of the ball. Okay, you're going to try to run on us, we're going to put a 50 front end. You're going to try to pass on us, we're going to put a 30 front end. They're just so versatile in what they do with the play selection because they have athletes that can do it.
The Eagles made a few acquisitions in the offseason. There's no doubt when it comes to the defense, not about the defensive side of the ball. What are those acquisitions meant in concert with the guys that are still there?
Well, it's easy. I think there's only like 4 or 5 guys from that original Super Bowl team back in 2017. But they're leaders on the team, so they know what it is to be at the highest level. They know what to be at the lowest level. You got BG. You got Fletcher Cox. You got guys like that who've been around, done this, and understand what it is to play at a high level. Now you have younger guys in the system that are looking at these older guys and like, look, you guys are playing well. There's nothing to have a Lane Johnson or Kelsey that you can go to and have all that vast information in which they can give them and they give to these young guys to make them play at another level. And that's the biggest thing that they offer. They offer, that sense of, all right, we've done it before. Just, patting yourself out after me, look at my work ethic, and you can be the same. You could play just as well as I did. And I think that's that's exactly what this team is doing. They're following the leaders who are great leaders. And they're trusting this coaching staff. They really do have, genuine love for this coaching staff. This coaching staff could do no wrong to them. They understand that, he will do anything that, Nick Sirianni will do anything for these guys. They'll play any way they want them to play because they trust them. And that's about the biggest thing biggest compliment you can have for a coach. Your players will do anything for you. They'll follow and knock down a brick wall for them. So when you have that type of coaching staff and the players will do that for you, the sky's the limit on what you can ask them to do.
Hey, look, you played in the league. You're a Super Bowl champion. Give me the traits of a coach that you wanted to play for. That way we can get an idea as to what kind of guy Sirianni is.
Well, you want a guy that's going to keep it 100. Tell me the truth. Don't lie for me. Don't lie to me. Lie for me. If it's something I need to work on, then give it to me. If I'm not going to be the guy that's going to play, then tell me. If I am your guy, let me know that also. Shoot me straight. Let me know what's going on. That way I know how to prepare myself and get ready for what's about to happen. And that's what Nick Sirianni is. He will also go to bat for him. He's not going to throw anybody under the bus. Hey, he'll take the whatever the blunt of whatever happens. He'll take it on the chin for his team. And when you have a guy like that who'll shoot you straight and is in your corner, you'll run through a brick wall for him. I had that several times in my career. I had that with Ray Rhodes and I also had it with Coach Cowher. 2 guys that I respected an awful lot, and they shot me straight. Mm-hmm. But I also had guys that didn't shoot me straight. I had guys that really weren't men of their word, and those are the coaches that didn't fare so well in the league. I had Bobby Ross. He ended up quitting halfway through the season on us when I was with the Detroit Lions. He just lost the team. But you got to shoot guys straight. You got to tell them the truth, and you can do that and not lie to them. They'll do anything for you. But when you do that, when you don't, and you lie to them, it's hard to keep the team and have the team follow you.
I mean, Bill O'Brien coached 2 years at Penn State, and of course he'd been with the Patriots. Of course, since leaving Penn State, he was the head coach of the Texans. Now he's back at Alabama. And I talked to him about that one time, Barrett. He said, "Look, Steve," he says, when you're coaching in the NFL, he said they're men. You got to treat them like men. And that's the bottom line.
Exactly.
That's the bottom line.
You got to see the family.
Yeah. That's exactly what he said. He said, look, he said a lot of them are married, have kids. He said they're men. He said, so you've got to treat them like men.
Absolutely. Well, he shoots those guys straight, and they love them.
Yeah, and that's a bottom line as to how to do it. I mean, and I think that goes with any business. Any business, men, women, whatever, you got to treat them like adults. Okay? They're not kids.
Yep. Absolutely. I think Nick Sirianni gets it. He got it early. He learned it from, from coaching staffs, from previous coaching staffs. I think he learned it from Big Red. Big Red always shot his guys straight, especially when he was here in Philadelphia. I'm sure he's doing the same thing in Kansas City. You shoot your guys straight, they'll do whatever you ask them to do, because just don't lie to them. As long as they know you tell them the truth and you have their best interest at heart, they will do anything for you. And I think he learned that early in his coaching career.
You may not like what they say to you, but they are also not BSing you.
Absolutely.
So you
That's it right there.
Yeah, so you take it seriously.
You hit it on the head. That's exactly what it is. Shoot me straight. Tell me what's going on. That way I'm not blindsided by it. When you blindside a player, that's when things go wrong, because now the team can't trust you. Now the players can't trust you, and it's hard to go to bat for somebody who you don't trust.
I know this has to be taken week by week. That's just the nature of football. Believe me, I've got a game with Central Michigan coming up this week. I've already started pouring all my resources into broadcasting that game. James Franklin has to get his team ready for that game.
Absolutely.
But you and I can have a little fun with the totality of this. 2 games in, the Eagles' schedule doesn't look that daunting. 2 games in. And for Buffalo, same thing. First half there's some daunting games in the first half, but then the second half for Buffalo doesn't look that daunting. How do you view it?
I view it the same way. I see a team that, they've got a pretty not easy schedule, because you got to play who you play. But they got a schedule that's not as taxing as most schedules. They definitely don't have a number one schedule, but they have just enough sprinkled in there that they have to come to work every week. Even come with this Washington Commanders team. They got to understand, you got a quarterback that still feels slighted from when he was with the team and they let him go, and he's trying to rejuvenate his career. They've got a head coach that they just let go playing for Jacksonville. That made those games not necessarily. They probably have better rosters than both of those teams. The Eagles probably match up better on paper, better than those teams. But there's little things. You got with the Washington game, it's a division foe. Everything goes out the door when it's a division foe. Plus, when you have Carson Wentz there, you look at Jacksonville. They've probably been the worst team ever the past 10 years. But you got a head coach that was here previously and was let go unceremoniously. You look at games going up. You got a Dallas game. Yeah, they don't have their quarterback, but still Cooper Rush and just the rivalry between the Eagles and Dallas will always come to the forefront. It doesn't matter who you have playing out there. Records don't matter. You got to go out there and play. Then you're going to get to complicated games like, all right, you're going to go against Arizona. You got Murray. He just brought his team back and had a crucial win against the Raiders. So you have to come play every single week. But the good thing is, and I think this team realizes after this game, is it doesn't matter who they play. As long as you take care of your house and govern your house, keep cutting your grass, watering your grass, make sure your grass is okay, it doesn't matter what anybody else does, because your lawn will be okay. And you go out there and dictate and run things the way you do it, it doesn't matter who else comes on your lawn. You'll be able to get them off your lawn.
All great points. Absolute pleasure having you on the show, Barrett. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Have a good one, all right?